Okay, so let's do it. Let's talk about it. You were there, USC versus Oregon.
Big game.
Walk me through that day.
So they brought him out in the middle of a USC, as I recall, and there was an egg, a big giant egg.
And the Roboduck comes out of the egg.
And then he almost looked like the alien from Alien or the Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
He looked like a superhero. I feel like people maybe even booed a little bit.
Which we end up losing terribly, and so everybody immediately blamed Roboduck.
There wasn't a lot of understanding or excitement for like what was going on.
Yeah.
The student section would like throw garbage at him. They hated him that much.
Everyone was just confused.
And so he just was literally reviled and sort of vanished, never to be heard from again.
2 months ago, I traveled to Eugene, Oregon in search of a ghost. A mystery long forgotten in the misty hills of the Willamette Valley. A town obsessed with every kind of duck, except one.
Let me ask, where did you, why come across the world to look for Roboduck?
I'd heard rumors of a story of ambition, innovation, and rejection, culminating in the strangest cold case in college football.
If I saw that guy right now, I'd knock him down, I'd tear that thing off, and I'd burn that suit.
Like Frankenstein's mascot, he was so hated by the people who created him that he vanished. For 23 years. In 2013, even the university admitted they had no idea where he was.
So I'm wondering if maybe someone stole it, but what a mystery.
But I couldn't help but wonder, was he still out there? Deep in the hills of Eugene, watching, waiting for his moment to take flight once more.
All I know is that you're something to do with Roboduck.
Oh, okay.
That's all I know.
Oh, that's it? Okay, this will be good.
And so I embarked on my very own duck hunt to try and solve the mystery of the Black Swan of Oregon. And maybe, just maybe,
Oh my God.
bring him back. So I had this image in my head of Eugene, Oregon as this misty, mythical college town buried in America's Pacific Northwest. And as I rolled into town, I wasn't sure if I'd arrived in Oregon or an episode of Twin Peaks.
And it's freezing. I feel good about our chances of finding a suit that no one's seen for 23 years. It's got to be around here somewhere.
But as I walked around the town, I realized this might be the perfect place for a duck to hide out. They were everywhere.
To find a duck, you got to think like a duck. Water.
So we decided to get our bearings and strategize.
Get this man a coffee. So our first clue, our first link is Oregon Grail, a huge Oregon Ducks enthusiast.
And so we agreed to meet at a local pizza place, which unsurprisingly was duck themed.
I'm born and raised in Eugene.
Right.
Parents started taking me to games, which used to be completely empty. Team was terrible. Tickets were cheap. The duck was a very consistent presence, right? At games, even when I was little, there was a love of the duck. And even though when we were terrible, he was a fun mascot that just evoked joy.
But what is it with this town and their obsession with ducks? When the University of Oregon started searching for an athletic name in the late 1800s, they settled on the state nickname Webfoots.
By the 1920s, Webfoots had started to give way to ducks, partly because of the local sports writers, but partly because the Oregon Frats would come down to the Eugene Mill Race every Saturday and select a live duck to take to the stadium. Puddles the Duck became the mascot.
As the image of the duck circulated through newspapers, programs, and campus publications, it began to bear a striking resemblance to another, more famous duck. In 1947, Oregon director Leo Harris decided to formalize things. He reached out to Walt Disney, and what followed wasn't a licensing agreement, but a handshake and a photograph, which worked right up until 1966 when Walt Disney died. At which point, Oregon's claim to Donald relied on a photograph of Walt Disney in an Oregon jacket and a handshake, neither of which hold up in court.
In 1973, Disney agreed to honor the deal under one condition, that Donald would remain a strictly local mascot. No merchandising, no national spotlight, no problem.
Because Oregon were terrible.
The team had been so bad traditionally, I don't think the uniforms held a lot of joy in people's minds and tradition. All the gear then was even more Donald Duck based than it is now. Like every shirt, every hat, everything was the duck coming out of the O.
At the time, Oregon operated far from the national spotlight. In 1983, famously farting out a 0-0 draw with arch rivals Oregon State in a game that came to be known as the Toilet Bowl.
Right before I was in high school, Oregon started to get better. And we made the independent Independence Bowl in 1989. So that was the first bowl game in a while. And there started to become a belief that, maybe we could be a team that didn't go 2-7 or, those sorts of things every year.
Meanwhile, just north of Eugene, a very different story was unfolding.
It's Nike Week at Dick's Clothing and Sporting Goods.
All this week. If it says Nike, it's on sale.
Basketball shoes like the Penetrator, only $27.99, and the awesome Air Jordans at $39.99.
Running shoes like the Oceana, only $16.99. The Pegasus at $36.99.
Save big now during Nike Week
at Dick's Clothing and Sporting Goods.
The Nike story is a story for another night, but safe to say the company, founded by former Oregon runner Phil Knight and his coach Bill Bowerman, were rapidly expanding in the early 1980s. Primarily known as a running shoe company, Nike wanted to expand into other professional sports just like their arch rival Adidas. This started in the NBA with the Blazer, the Air Force One, and the culture-bending arrival of the Air Jordan in 1985. But Nike had their eyes on a bigger prize. At the dawn of the 1990s, entry into the NFL was prohibitively expensive and tightly controlled, so instead, Nike turned their attention to college football. The swoosh began invading the sidelines of the NCAA, appearing on the game's most recognizable figures before spreading into full institutional partnerships. This put Nike on all the major programs of college football, including Oregon's Ducks, who were starting to make a name for themselves.
So we went to the Rose Bowl in 95. 96 season was good again, and we got to the Cotton Bowl.
And in 1996, the very first time that Oregon wore the swoosh, one play ignited the Oregon-Nike partnership and changed the course of college football aesthetics forever. And that play was a fake punt. Do you remember 1996 Cotton Bowl, Colorado versus Oregon? Do you remember a fake punt?
Yes.
Day of promise for the Ducks has turned into disaster here. 11:24 to go in the fourth quarter. Not much good has happened here in the second half for Oregon.
Sometimes flying south is not always the best strategy.
Yeah, their wings are wet too.
So the game was over, and not technically over, but it was a blowout. So Oregon was probably down like 31-6 or something in the fourth quarter. Game was over. Rick Neuheisel was the Colorado coach, was a up-and-coming, kind of brash, cocky coach, and Oregon had basically put in the backups, and the game was over and succumbed the game. And we stopped Colorado, fourth down, should just punt the ball, game's over, fake punt.
They faked the punt, and it's complete. The Oregon fans boo that.
Go down, score another touchdown.
Add 6 more points to the Colorado total, 38-6.
38-6. Just rubbing salt on the wound, super embarrassing.
Fans are booing, and maybe it's a matter of consideration of sportsmanship, but the main thing is you don't quit. There's no rule that says you have to punt the football.
That'll do it. The Buffaloes of Colorado are the 1996 winners of the Cotton Bowl Classic with a convincing victory over the Ducks of Oregon. And there's
At the end of the game, as they left the field, the victorious Colorado players pointed to the Donald Duck logo and chanted, "Quack, quack, quack." Athletic director Bill Moose and Mike Bellotti were furious. Oregon was being laughed off the national stage. If the program was ever going to compete for elite recruits, something fundamental had to change. The Ducks, in their daisy yellow helmets, light green shorts, and Donald Duck logo, looked like the kind of team you would run a fake punt on up 32-6.
I think that fake punt helped trigger a lot of feelings from Oregon fans and Phil Knight and other boosters to want to improve the football program and take it to the next level. That fake punt
the moment.
Was the trigger.
The whole thing.
We should just thank Rick Neuheisel.
As Y2K inched closer, Oregon wasn't the only program with eyes on the future. Legacy franchises across America were abandoning heritage logos for sleeker identities engineered for a new millennium. Even Nike dropped its own name in favor of just the swoosh. And then came the proof of concept. In 1997, Nike redesigned the Denver Broncos, out went the Orange Crush, and in came a harder, navy-edged identity. And the Broncos won back-to-back Super Bowls. Oregon was watching. After the humiliation of the 1996 Cotton Bowl, they entered into talks with Nike to redesign their entire program. At the time, Oregon didn't have one logo, it had several. An interlocking UO reminiscent of Oklahoma and a cartoon duck dating back to the 1940s. Nike designer Tinker Hatfield created Oregon's new O logo.
The inside based on Oregon's famous track, the outside based on Autzen Stadium.
Unlike the Broncos, Oregon's traditional green was phased out in favor of something darker. Spruce green and black jerseys arrived, tailored for speed. The helmet shifted color in sunlight the way a mallard's feathers catch the angle of the sun. They were futuristic ducks. By the end of 1998, the uniforms were ready. Running back Reuben Drones, who had broken his fibula earlier in the year, suffered a second indignity, standing in full pads on a beach in Waikiki before the Aloha Bowl, debuting the Ducks' new look.
The reaction was mixed. Traditional fans complained Oregon looked like, quote, a bunch of Ninja Turtles, but the direction was set. That year, they went 9-3 and won the Sun Bowl. The next year, 2000, they were Pac-10 co-champions, and by 2001, they were one of the best teams in the country.
And towering over it all was Joey Harrington.
Everybody all over the world knows Joey Harrington. That's him. That's his number 3. And we're all here to confirm it, but the whole world knows.
Exploding onto the scene in 2000, Joey Harrington became the poster boy for Oregon's new era. A Portland kid, the university sent his parents a letter of intent the day he was born. That's actually a fact. And 23 years later, there he was, looming over Madison Square Garden on a $250,000 Nike billboard. Not the kind of guy you'd quack at.
And the results followed quickly. A second-place finish in both the 2001 AP and coaches polls, the highest in school history. The influx of Nike money helped ignite a facilities race across college football, and Harrington's image was everywhere, on billboards, magazines, and even the front cover of NCAA football.
Oregon's new era of Nike-fueled innovation and Joey Harrington long bombs was finally dragging the new-look Oregon Ducks squarely into the national conversation, giving Oregon one unique problem they'd never had before.
Oregon's licensing deal with Disney meant that the Duck couldn't be marketed nationally. Disney's tight grip on their intellectual property restricted appearances, sponsorships, and even video games. So if you remember NCAA football mascot mode, the Duck was conspicuously absent.
From the Nike redesign to beach photo shoots to Joey Harrington looming over Times Square, the Ducks were ascending fast. But the most recognizable symbol was stuck on the ground. So Oregon made a decision. If they wanted a mascot that could represent the most modern program in college football, it had to be one they owned. So Nike was given the task, and the result was Roboduck.
If some crazy British man came to Eugene, Oregon, searching for Roboduck, where would I start?
It's a great question. I would start with the athletic department, but what a mystery.
If I was excited about all the clues we received on our first day in Eugene, that excitement lasted till roughly 10 a.m. the next morning when I received an email.
Not a great update here. Nike hates Roboduck. Apparently, this is extremely forbidden territory at Oregon, and they can help us with anything else on campus, but not Roboduck. So that was like that was it. That's all we had. So Nike out, Oregon out. The only other person that I have is a guy on X at the real Roboduck who used to tweet pictures of the suit. I got his number, but he hasn't replied for weeks. I can call him. I mean, I have to call him. That's all we've got. Hi, is that? Hi, it's Hugh. He said he'd let me know, so.
As you can see, I was remarkably chill about the whole thing. With the entire documentary on the line, I spent the next couple of days walking around Eugene looking for any sign of Roboduck.
Can I try the vanilla?
I'm waiting for a call from a man I'd never met.
Yes, hello, operator. Can you put me through to Roboduck? Oh God. Can I try the chocolate chip cookie dough? Just trying to kill some time at the oldest house in Oregon. Can I try the vanilla again?
And just when all seemed lost and Roboduck had flown the nest for good,
Ready?
we got our man.
In 1970... Yes! Okay. He's gonna meet us tonight. We're gonna have to blur out his face and his name, but that's fine. Great.
And so it was back to the best Ducks-themed pizzeria in town. And as the patron saint of Roboduck watched on, I couldn't help but feel anxious. Maybe there was a reason no one knew about Roboduck. Maybe there was a reason that Oregon and Nike refused to talk about it. Suddenly I felt the eyes of Joey Harrington following me around the room. But then my phone buzzed, and I snapped back to reality.
So he's here.
And there he was, at the real Roboduck. My last chance of finding the actual Roboduck.
All I know is that you're something to do with Roboduck.
Oh, okay.
That's all I know.
Oh, that's it? Okay, this will be good. If you Google Roboduck, one of the first pictures that comes up is me. All those pictures on X, on Twitter, that's me in the suit.
Whoa.
I thought you knew all this.
What?
Oh, how funny.
No.
Okay, I can start at the beginning if you want.
That'd be great.
Okay, so they brought him out in the middle of USC, as I recall.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's talk about it. You were there, USC versus Oregon.
Big game.
Walk me through that day.
We've got a gorgeous afternoon for a football game. The temperature's in the 50s. It's pretty much clear, and it's dry and fast.
It's October 26th, 2002. 12th ranked Oregon is facing off against USC.
A team that hasn't won here since 1993. Future 2002 Heisman Trophy winner Carson Palmer threw 2 first-half touchdowns, which set the tone for the day. The Duck fans were restless.
And with the Ducks losing for only a second time in 31 games, well, as Keith would say, the Duck fans were a little bit cranky.
As the players jogged in for halftime, a strange grassy mound made its way to the center of the field.
And there was an egg, a big giant egg.
Everyone's sort of like, what's going on?
And all of a sudden there's smoke and stuff, and he hatches out of the egg. And he was supposed to be Puddles the Duck, his half-brother that they found when they were renovating the stadium. And then he almost looked like the alien from Alien or the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. When they score a touchdown, the Duck does push-ups.
Yeah.
Well, this guy would do these backflips. And people immediately were like, what is this? It's too much. It's not us. It's over the top.
Roboduck seemed arrogant. I feel like people maybe even booed a little bit. like there was just a, what's going on here?
But they lost like 4 games in a row, and he got blamed.
Maybe a couple more appearances at football, and then like tried at basketball, but then just like wasn't ever seen again.
And he did a little bit of basketball where he would do those off a trampoline, 360 slam dunks. I mean, it's very good, but he hit the bill of the helmet, ripped it off, and had to run off or whatever. And the student section would like throw garbage at him. They hated him that much. And so he just was literally reviled and sort of vanished, never to be heard from again. Every year at the U of O, they have an athletic surplus sale, jerseys and helmets and used jock straps. And I found the suit. I paid $800 for it. I just, instantly knew what it was. So I'm the guy who's had it for like the last 17 years.
You're telling me you have the costume?
That's correct. I did. But then I just recently decided, it was time to pass it on to somebody else.
Right.
And so I did end up selling it to somebody.
Who?
There's a guy in town that has a store called The Nest, and he's a big duck collector.
And so, as the mist cleared on our final morning in Oregon, we found ourselves snaking back to where this story started 23 years ago, the very center of Oregon's campus, and the last place you'd expect to find a missing duck.
I'm getting excited now.
The Nest.
It's like right in the middle of campus, opposite the bookstore. Here goes nothing. Is it okay if we film in here? Joey Harrington, the patron saint of Roboduck. Surely you're in the right place. If they have it, and Roboduck has been here in the middle of campus this entire time. Hey man, what's up?
Hello, man.
I'm Hugh.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. This is gonna sound very, very weird. Do you know about Roboduck? I was told that you might have the costume. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Might have it. I feel kind of like that was kind of positive. No way. Oh my god.
Is that what you're looking for?
Oh my god. You have no idea how long I've been looking for this. These are the boots. They're like Nike toe shoes.
Yeah.
It's like a little duck's foot. Crazy with the Oregon foot on the heel. It's like a whole shiesty. This is insane. Oh, there's a Nike swoosh. Of course there is. It's crazy to be looking at him. It's Dr. Frankenstein's monster. That they created this thing, and it was so hated, so reviled, that he disappeared into the misty Oregon woods, never to be seen for 20 years. Gills on the back.
I love the way you describe it, into the Oregon mist, and I thought, so he's probably hanging out doing marijuana
in the hills
with Bigfoot.
He was a lot musclier in the pictures.
He had a whole muscle suit underneath.
That looks terrifying.
It is terrifying.
It's like you just got it from a meat market. Oh, it's so heavy. This is more than I bargained for. I didn't realize that Roboduck had nipples, but every day's a school day. It's crazy how it's fully Nike branded.
There was a A rumor never substantiated that Roboduck was kind of thought up over drinks with Phil Knight and they all got drunk and came up with this character. I don't know if any of that's true.
And oh my God, look at this. I'm so glad it's going to live here in this sort of shrine to Nike in Oregon and the Duck, and this is the best possible outcome. Not just him, we found all of him in an IKEA bag in the back.
It's a little bit of like enough of a thing of legend now that like why haven't they brought it back?
Because there's a lot of people like, hey, bring him back. It would be fun.
This is the story of a duck. A duck so hated and so reviled by the very people that created him that he vanished. High into the hillside of evergreen trees which overlooked a town that had turned its back on him. For 23 years his existence was only whispered about, held amongst a select few who believed that one day the Black Swan of Oregon would return.
What's funny about it now is I think people almost look back on it positively as like a fun story and funny experience. I'm actually a little surprised they haven't like brought it back out as but maybe, they haven't found the costume or